Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Ismono Commute. Before I start this episode, an important reminder: please do not text and drive. I intentionally use an action camera without a monitor on it, so I won't get distracted while driving. Always drive safe, and please do not get distracted. In this episode, I recently finished Hogwarts Legacy, and I am a big Harry Potter fan, and I thought, why not re-listen or read the Harry Potter series for the thousandth time, just to give you a quick overview about my Harry Potter history. I actually read Harry Potter in English. I own the hardcover books, but I also read it in German. Also owned the hardcover books, but I sold the hardcover German versions because I prefer the English version. I listened to the audiobooks in English with Stephen Fry as a reader, but also in German by Rufus Beck and I think he's called Philip Mangold, but I'm not too sure. I re-listened to the Harry Potter series, starting with the Philosopher's Stone, and just recently the Chamber of Secrets in English, with Stephen Fry as the as the narrator. But I also watched the movies, the first two. And this review is about the first one, the Philosopher's Stone. And also a quick history check from my part is when Harry Potter came out, so the books and the movies especially, I wasn't interested in the movies at all. The books weren't really on my radar when the first and the second book came out and the third one. And I saw the movies or the trailer and I thought, those are kids' movies. Not really interested in that, although I'm a huge fantasy fan, but I kind of did not want to see those movies. Then the third one came out and I didn't watch it in the movies, but it was on TV and I thought, let's give it a try. And I was actually quite surprised that I thought, oh wow, this is supposed to be a kid's movie. This is still somewhat scary. I would imagine a kid would be a little bit scared of that movie. So I got interested and I made a mistake. Not a mistake. I was really interested, but I thought, let's read the books then and let's just see what they're all about. And I was hooked. I read all of them and I was really impressed by the story. So going into the first book and the first movie of the Harry Potter series, there are 7 books, 8 movies, because the last movie is split into 2 movies. And the Philosopher's Stone, to give you a quick recap, I might spoil some stuff, but to be honest, this is a very, in air quotes, very old book. And if you haven't read it, I'm sorry if I might spoil something. I will try not to spoil anything, but potentially I might spoil something. So the story is Harry Potter is an orphan who grows up in England with his aunt and his uncle, who are terrible human beings and treat him not even like a second-class citizen, but maybe like a fourth-class citizen, so terribly. And he lives in a small room. It's not a room, it's a storage area underneath the stairs. And he doesn't know anything about his parents. He's being treated basically as if he was a servant. And he is about to turn 10 years old. And suddenly he receives a lot of letters, and his uncle, for some reason, does not allow him to read the letters. And these letters come in many peculiar ways, with an owl, sometimes in a different way that I don't want to spoil. And yeah, it's very curious and peculiar, obviously, for Harry, and why his uncle does not allow him to read those letters. So, to prevent those letters arriving Harry, they actually go to a deserted place where suddenly a person arrives and wishes Harry happy birthday on midnight on the day to his birthday. Not sure how you call it, on the midnight to, yeah, but at midnight. So right when his birthday starts, and that person is Hagrid, and he tells Harry that he is the son of two wizards, and therefore he's a wizard too, and is about to be invited to go to Hogwarts, a school for sorcerers and sorcerer. And yeah, that's how the story begins. He becomes a student at Hogwarts, and this whole story is surrounding about him becoming a wizard. But also he learns that there is this evil sorcerer called Voldemort, who he basically was part in defeating. When Voldemort wanted to kill Harry's parents, he also wanted to kill Harry, but for some reason that curse backfired and killed Voldemort instead. So Harry has been a very famous and prominent figure in the wizarding world, but since he left when he was a baby and did not know anything about the wizarding world, he is very humble, and he doesn't know anything, A, about the wizarding world, but B, about him being famous, which makes him a very cool character. So that's basically the whole premise of the whole Harry Potter series. Let me just get in front of this car because he wants to merge. But I was in that car's blind spot, so I had to I know you're not supposed to overtake on the right side, but because I was in this blind spot, I was rather overtaking him before he crashed into me. So yeah, and the first book is about the Philosopher's Stone. When he arrives at Hogwarts, he actually visits a bank with Hagrid and picks up this stone, and there is this whole story about the stone and about something being hidden inside Hogwarts and protected. And there is, and besides Voldemort, who's being the main villain, obviously, that doesn't really show in this book yet. There is this second antagonist. I'm not going to call him villain because he's a teacher that doesn't like Harry at all, who's called Snape. And this, because Harry doesn't know why Snape dislikes or even hates him so much, and there is this secret in Hogwarts that is being protected, the whole story evolves around finding out what's going on with this secret, with this item being protected, and if Snape is behind certain things going on at Hogwarts that also includes some attacks on Harry Potter himself. And yeah, that's basically, again, I really try hard always not to spoil anything. But yeah, that's basically the story about the Philosopher's Stone. The books are amazing. You really can't go wrong. They are incredibly well told. The characters are really have a lot of depth and are interesting to learn about, to follow around their story of becoming sorcerers and sorceress. Um, and it is, in essence, of course, a child's book, and it is intended for the kids that back then started to read the books, kind of grow with Harry, Hermione, and Ron, who are Harry's best friends. And so, yeah, in the beginning, they are obviously kids' books. And you might remember that said that I sometimes dislike kid characters in stories because they sometimes do stupid things. But I feel that this is not the case in the books. However, the movies are a different story. I felt that the first movie was very kid friendly, which is okay. This is for the target demographic. This is totally fine, but sometimes it felt a little bit stupid. Again, when I said I do not like kid characters in movies or in stories, it is because they are sometimes portrayed as being a little bit stupid, in a way that they do stupid kid mistakes. And I do think that kids still can be kids while still not making stupid mistakes and being still a little bit smarter about stuff, because we as a society sometimes don't give kids enough credit of their of what they're being capable of. And yes, that's why I sometimes dislike kid characters in movies, because they make stupid mistakes that I don't think are necessary to progress a story. And that is why the movie Philosopher's Stone is okay-ish. I wouldn't recommend it. Actually, I would actually, if you were interested in the movies, I would say skip the first two, start with the third one, maybe even start with the fourth one. It's much more interesting and much more engaging. Obviously, you will lose a little bit of the story, but if you want to go into the Harry Potter world, I would say read the books and then potentially start with the movies at episode 4 or 3. Also, the first two movies actually are kind of rushing through the books. Um, it's not like there is, for instance, the longest book is the fourth or the fifth. I think the fourth. Or they're almost both the same length. They're really long. And the movies actually are capturing the whole stories very well, in my humble opinion. But the first and the second movie are kind of rushing through the books, because obviously, especially in the first one, they need to build the world, explain a lot, and it's not possible to explain everything. But still, I don't like how they rushed through that movie. You still understand everything, but it's spreading every part of it a little bit too thin, in my humble opinion. And the VFX in that movie are pretty terrible. They didn't age well. But yeah, going back to the books, I would highly recommend to start the Harry Potter series. If let's rate them. I would say the Philosopher's Stone is my second least favorite book, because just wanted to say least favorite, but because it started the whole series and built this world, I think it's not the worst. That is not to say it is a terrible book. That is to say that it's, of all of the 7 books, I would say this is my second least favorite. My least favorite might be the Chamber of Secrets. No, I would say the second and the first one are basically on the same level. So not my favorite books of the series, but still great books. In the next episode of this monocommute, I will talk about the Chamber of Secrets, but now I will go to the gym and work out a little bit. And yeah, again, I would highly recommend to start the Harry Potter series, and it is such an engaging, interesting, and also heartwarming story about friendship and about good and evil, and it is very entertaining. Obviously, I don't want to go into that too much. Obviously, there is this whole hot topic with the author J.K. Rowling, but I really don't want to go into it. I do understand the discussion, and I do understand why some people really dislike J.K. Rowling. That being said, I kind of want to kind of disconnect the art from the artist, because I think those books are so good and so important to some kids and to culturally, because I feel they have been so interesting and so good. So yeah, long story short, I really like Harry Potter. If you read Harry Potter, which of those books is your favorite, and where would you rank the Philosopher's Stone? And yeah, if you have any questions, feedback, please comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, click the like button, and please feel free to subscribe to this channel, but also my main channel and Instagram and podcast at You Know The Bow. Stay safe and healthy, and especially drive safe, and I see you in the next video. Thank you very much.